All right, so I haven't posted anything in a while, but this is day one of the flatbed build. So we're gonna start getting these frame rails square. That's the most important part. You start out square, you'll finish square. Um, let's say I'm gonna do this in a several part series probably. The reason I hadn't posted in a while, I was doing the 9 o'clock break thing, and we got like 4 views on that, so I wasn't quite as interested as I thought it was. I do have a lot of footage from the airport, and I just hadn't had time to sit down, and I'm just going to throw an airport day video together of kind of like some of the stuff we do there, but that'll probably be after this. Um, so I've already kind of got ahead of myself on this before I started filming, but we're going to get, this is going to be the front of the bed. I've got that marked, and we're going to get that frame rail right there square, which I already, when I put it down here, we got pretty close on that. She's dead, pretty much dead nuts. And I want to emphasize something that I really feel is very important. If you're going to do anything like fab wise, don't buy a square at Harbor Freight. Buy a good Sturrit or Mitutoyo. It's going to cost you $300 or so, but that'll be your shop square. And anytime we use like these framing squares like this right here, always check them against this square and make sure, because these will get tweaked and bent, and as soon as they do, you need to throw them away. But always check. If you're going to use a framing square, always have this square as the main shop standard square. Always check anything else you use against it. But we're going to work off of this end sawhorse. They are somewhat square with each other, but not dead on square with each other, but that's not super important. And these sawhorses are made out of some really good I-beam, and they have a good square face on them. Another thing is I cut these last week, and something we came to realize was I got a spot right there. Where they had sit on the cribbing in the sun, they were a little bit warped. But metal's got a memory, and it'll go back to what it knows, and they seem like they've straightened up quite a bit. So we got that rail square. We're going to clamp it off, and that's where we're going to work from here on. Let's get that a little bit tighter. So we know our frame rails are going to be 42 inches apart outside. This is going to come in quite a bit. Since we're working off of this one, we're dead on 10 inches, so that's good. That's dead on 10 inches. Let's see where this end is up. All right. Since we're at 42, we need to measure out here at the end since we're not square yet. Always doing shop work, I like to use a 16-foot square. I mean a 16-foot tape measure. There's no reason in a shop building small parts and pieces like we do that you need a 25-foot or 30-foot tape. I always use the 16-footer. I keep a 25-footer and a 30-footer and all that to be had, but 16-foot's what we use daily. It'll take a little bit of time to get these where you want them, but once we're there, you start working when everything's square to begin with. It'll stay square from now on. You start straying from the beginning, and you'll stray the whole time. Or that 1/4 inch you were out will grow to 3/8 of an inch, to a 1/2 an inch, to an inch. And you'll be like, how did I get so far out? I know this isn't super interesting, but once we get a good starting point, we'll be good to go. Probably gonna go over to a time lapse now, and then I'll be back with you in a minute. Back with you. Got everything square. All of our measurements are right. So we can clamp this side. These are pretty important. We try to get these pretty damn tight if we can. Alright, let's check that again. Yeah, 41.15. 42. So that was in the middle. 42. Alright, and what'll really tell the story, you can square it all you want, but if you'll come back 110 3/16. If this is within a 1/4 or so, I know that sounds like a lot for fab work, but like it don't take me just a little bit to get this measurement off. We're within a 1/16. That's 110 1/4. Sounds like these. Be nice to have a little bit of help. I mean, I'm calling it 110 3, but it's really between 3/16 and 1/4. So that is close enough for the girls' lead day. That is all straight, level, plumb, and square. So the next most important thing is the CA, which is the cab to axle. And we have 57 inches is what we've measured off the truck, and it's also what our upfitter's guide tells us. So 56, 57. I got a bunch of notes I pulled off of the truck this is going on, and also I wrote down out of the one neat thing, and I didn't learn this till recently. You can go to, like this one's going on a Chevrolet, so you can go to General Motors website and get an upfitter's guide for the specific vehicle you're working on. This is going on a 2018 Chevrolet 3500 diesel. You go and get that one, and then it gives you every dimension of everything on that frame rail, the body. Really nice resource. So 57 inches, so we were going to 56, I'm 90% sure. Yep, 56. Let's see, that gives it enough room to be off of the back of the truck. All right, so now our CA is going to be 56 inches. I've got that marked. And it's marked over there. And I put a square mark down the side. But we'll be working off that the whole time. Kicks and giggles. Yep. That metal did straighten back up quite a bit. We're only an 1/8 wide in the middle. When I first put these up here the other day, it was a 1/2 inch off out the middle. It's crazy. All right. So that's our CA. We have got a gooseneck hitch going in this, and ideally we'd like to be just forward of the CA, and we'll start right here in the middle so that it gets boxed in like we want it, and then we'll work off the middle with our runners. So if we figure, if we put that gooseneck hitch all right, and that can go in the front of that box. So got my hitch here just for give us an idea of the size, because it'll be a recessed box down in the, you'll open a door in the bed and it'll be down in there. So part of that box will be these cross members. So if you don't think about this kind of ahead, you'd end up, when you get to that point, not being able to do it how you want to do it, or not being ideal anyway. All right, so also we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, so if we do 7 spaces, so right at a foot. This one will be 2.5 inches off the front of that. 2. Let's go 8. Just trying to get these laid out and kind of thinking some stuff through as I go. Main thing is you want enough clearance inside of the box to be able to hook your hitch up. We don't want to span too far, and at the CA you kind of want to straddle the tire so you don't have a channel sitting right on top of the tire. for suspension travel. This shouldn't be that close to begin with, but I went the wrong mark. The 13.5 mark. Okay. See what these look like. We'll kind of go from there. Gonna pull from the front up here. .47 7/8, 61 5. .47 7/8, 61 5. Let's check that one more time. .61 5. All right. It's gonna be our 2 middle runners. All right, and get this out of the way. What was that hitch? I'll mark that over there too. 52 inches. So I already cut these. I think our bed is gonna be 97 inches wide, and we got a 1/4 inch rub rail, so these are 96.5. And we're going to turn these facing each other. Set these ends up. .27 3/8. Dang, bro. On the money. I don't think that measurement's 100% correct, though. It's not. .27 5. Alright, I'm gonna go to a time lapse while I lay these out. And I'm probably gonna keep on the time lapse when I work these out. I just gotta get some measurements and whatnot and make even spaces. But I know it's kind of boring watching me back and forth right now. Alright, so we got both ends, the front, the back. We got these on location and clamped around the CA and the gooseneck hitch. So what we got to determine now is this thing will be tapered at the back and the front, but the taper is going to be different both places, and maybe not. Sometimes I've done it that way. Whatever I think looks good, but I'm going to take this right here, and that kind of gives me an idea of what my taper is going to look like. And this would be on the back, so you know, I just kind of get a feel for it and go from there. I do know I haven't got that technically like on location. Be more along those lines. it'll be on the back. So, you know, like the whole skirt on the back will kind of taper in like that. And then like the whole drop down, and then it comes back. And it kind of helps turn race with gooseneck, which this one's got plenty. And I think it just makes it look better. It just don't look like a block square. Looks like somebody kind of took their time to make it look right. And that's what we're after. Then up here on the front, this is where it tapers into the cab. Usually this one isn't quite as aggressive. I need to check that again, just like I did the other one. Because he's going to have some toolboxes and stuff. I don't want to lose all that space. Yep, 12 inches. So that's 12 outside to outside. Yep. I think we'll do them both 12. And go from there. So that's that. So we got everything on location, just like we want it, where it goes, square, plumb, straight, level. So next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and weld these down while we can get over in there real nice and easy. Then after that, I'll bring a flat bar in here and we'll cut this rub rail and put them in. And then we'll cut the 1/2 inch plate for the gooseneck hitch, slide it in from the bottom, and it gets quite a bit of bracing goes in on it. We'll get it in here, and then we'll be ready to do the decking after that. But that's next thing, I'm gonna go to a time lapse and do a little bit of welding, and then after that we'll start on these rub rails. Alright, we are ready to do these rub rails. I got a little bit ahead without filming again, but I just made me a little jig and some angle iron and some clips, so when I set them up here, I can clamp them off, and you gotta try to hold it up here and tack it. But pretty much all there is to that. Alright, 80 3/4. Let's see, yeah. Why did I do that like that? I brought this in here and then put it out the middle where I couldn't get to it. That's smart, wasn't it? Alright. 80 3/4 for kicks and giggles. Let's see what the other side is. 80 3/4. Imagine that. Almost like we done that on purpose. All right. Get my soapstone sharpener. $80 3/4. Three-quarter. Measure twice, cut once. Alright. Got those cut. Alright, so we got this rub rail clamped off. Kind of had to work out a little bit. Weird stuff's just not perfect, but it's no big deal. I just had to work out some stuff as I went. But got all that ready to go. So I'm gonna come back in and tack this off. I don't think I'm gonna weld it just yet. I'm gonna tack this off, and then we'll go to the other side and tack them, and then we'll cut these pieces. we got the rub rails on both sides. I gotta cut these little angle pieces for them now. $16 works out for that. And that. Yeah. So both these back ones are gonna be 16". I'll probably gonna get a little time lapse. I'll cut these and I'm gonna go ahead and measure the front ones and get them on too. All rub rails on, all welded out, all ready to go. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is get our gooseneck hitch in its hole. So I've already pulled a couple measurements. It's gonna be 41.5 by 15. I got a piece of 1/2 inch plate outside I'm gonna bring in, and I gotta space it up. Let's see. Find something like 2 inches to lay across through here, and I'm gonna slide it in the back where it kind of sits up inside of this where we can weld. And yeah, that's my plan. I'm gonna slide it through the back and get it up in here, and then it'll get 2 plates on the side that'll come all the way to the top of the 3-inch channels. It'll tie into it, and they'll get gusseted, and then it'll get 2 plates this way, and that'll lock all that in pretty tight. But that's our next move. Get that. That'll probably be about it for today. I hope to get that done. That's a good bit more work, but get that done, and then we'll move up here to the headache rack and get it done, and then the back bumper, and we can start sheeting it. There's really not a whole lot to one of these. Like, it's kind of, I mean, it's easy fab work. It's all just stick building. There's nothing to it. It's just the fact of doing it. But yeah, I'm gonna go get a piece of plate and bring it in, put it on the table, and I probably won't bring you along on the drawing it on CAD because that's kind of boring and I'm not good at explaining it. But I'll probably set up a time lapse while the machine's cutting. So we got our plates cut. Well, 2 of them. I still got to cut the braces and gussets. We'll clean this up, but I think I'm gonna make this one whole episode of just the gooseneck. So this might be I'm gonna clean this up, and probably gonna be the end of episode 1, which is gonna be the frame rails and the braces and the rub rail and all that. And I'm gonna do one just on this gooseneck hitch here. So that'll be all for this one. So that's the end of episode 1 of the flatbed build. Tomorrow I'm gonna be finishing the gooseneck hitch and all that up. I went ahead and done a little bit. I filmed it. I didn't slide it in yet, but I'll start filming that tomorrow, and maybe post another video tomorrow. I hope to have this thing hurt this week. But if you enjoy this stuff, subscribe to our channel. There'll be more of this kind of thing, and give us a like. If you got any questions, comment down below, and I really appreciate you watching.